Coming up on GET,
we take a look into the choir program,
solve your gaming problems,
and see how Clayton has changed over the past decade. Does your mom always yell at you for playing video games?
we have a solution for you.
Brody, Ferris, and Jack take a look at eSports within Clayton.
My views on esports, I would strongly support esports here in Clayton due to the fact that, I feel like we have a lot of students in our school that would be interested in being involved in esports. Furthermore, I think we would be good at it.
I played video games on the side, and then I figured out, I found out you could get scholarships, and I was like, okay.
But then I also think it provides those students who might typically be sitting at home by themselves or with one or two friends in front of a computer or in front of a gaming device to bring them here to the high school to create some type of team camaraderie.
It's it just teaches you a lot about teamwork and working together.
We would all be coming together as one large community.
It taught me a lot about communication overall.
If you have, say, a group of freshman students that are involved in gaming and esports, and then you also have a group of seniors that they might not even know each other, that are also involved in, say, maybe even the same games, and you bring them together in the school as part of a team. So if we could get a large group of those students all in the same facility, in the same room, then it creates that feeling of a team, just like we might have on a basketball court, on a baseball field, or in the pool.
Summer is going to be longer next year.
But some sacrifices will have to be made.
Anisha, Max, and Isaac show us what an alternative schedule may look like at Clayton.
July 11th, 2019, Governor Mike Parsons signed a bill that would move the earliest possible start date for schools in Missouri to be 10 days before the first Monday in September. This bill will take effect in the 2020 school year.
It's been floated around in the state legislature for quite a few years, and I know at one point the state representative from Sedalia felt that the early school start times were interfering with students' ability to fully participate in the Missouri State Fair, and then that kind of fell. That didn't get a whole lot of traction, but then recently the Missouri Tourism Lobby made an argument that if schools started later, they could get additional weekends of tourism revenue, presumably primarily at the Lake of the Ozarks, Branson. We're hoping to minimize the impact to students and teachers. Obviously the biggest thing from a high school perspective is probably the finals issue. Having 80 days to cover the amount of material that you need to cover, as opposed to 96 days if you take it second semester, is a pretty big difference. And so we've been in conversations with the various departments too about what that would look like if we kept finals ahead of winter break.
We will have longer periods where we'll have 5-day weeks. But we'll be able to preserve 3 days for Thanksgiving break, so you'll have that 5-day weekend that I know everyone deeply appreciates. And the winter break looks like it'll be a reasonable length too.
We want to be careful not to just shave a whole bunch of days out of the calendar and then adding a few minutes to each class, because in practicality, if you have a 45-minute class and the 45-minute class becomes 48 minutes, but then you meet 10 less days over the course of the year in terms of what you want to cover in that class, it's not equivalent.
What it's looking like is that we're going to have fewer days for professional development, fewer days for early release, and that means for students they'll have fewer days off throughout the regular school year, but everyone had to give up something. So teachers had to give up a little bit of their professional development, students will have to give up a little bit of their 3-day weekends, the district has to give up a little bit in the summer, but the current draft calendar that I think the school board is reviewing very shortly has us basically completing the week after Memorial Day. So we're only actually going 1 day into June or something like that. It's not too terrible.
There's a whole lot of moving pieces in terms of impact to sports and after school activities, because that means if we get out a little later, then they have to start a little later, and so it's kind of a little bit of a balancing act. So our strategy has been to, rather than go with just one strategy, kind of use multiple strategies as we craft the calendar.
Again, everyone's going to have to give somewhere. Not everyone's going to be happy with everything, but I think the calendar that the school board's going to be looking at is a pretty reasonable compromise from all the different desires that people have.
Clayton's choir program is rebuilding.
With a new director, changes are being made.
Robbie, Charlie, and Anthony shed light onto Clayton's choir program.
This program, and I really want to see this program thrive and grow and be as strong as all the other amazing academic programs at Clayton. Anyone who sings together in unison or in harmony.
Just like express emotion that like maybe like you don't have like a chance to like express in like everyday life.
Like a group of people who might not have a lot in common, but we're all in it together to try and sound good and improve.
You can be a solo singer and sing in the musical or sing somewhere else and be your own artist, but it takes a lot of commitment and hard work to be in a choir together with other singers and listen and learn together.
You know, there's just a lot of great people who are really passionate about singing, and you also, like, it helps you grow as a singer too.
Choir challenges me because I need to learn to dance, and I need to sing while dancing, and I improved.
I think because it builds like performance skills and like it teaches you like theory, like notes and like sight reading, anything like that. I think like builds a foundation for sure.
And I think it would be good if it was recognized more and given more attention so that people who are interested in singing and becoming better vocalists can get involved.
Our program has gone from 85 singers to less than 30 singers. Right now, because our numbers are so small, we only have one choir in the curricular day, and then we also offer show choir, which is more of the jazz hand thing in the morning. I really want to make sure that everybody at Clayton High School knows that I am doing everything that I possibly can to make sure that there is an outlet for others to be able to sing who don't want to necessarily do the jazz hands and show choir thing.
Well, students will find it important so they can learn how to read music and learn how to sing, and even learn how to sing in front of people as well, in front of a whole group.
Just try it out. You know, you can learn a lot from it, and I just think it's a good experience for anyone who's interested in singing.
I know deep down that the choirs are going to build. I just want everybody to know that there is a place for everyone in the choir.
Now for the iconic Clayton vs. Ladue basketball game.
This competition benefits kids with cancer.
Michael gives us some insight on Coaches vs. Cancer.
Coaches vs. Cancer is basically this game we do every year. We happen to do it against our rival Ladue.
But I feel like it's important to the entire community. One being you're bringing two neighboring communities together over athletics, specifically basketball. So bringing the two communities together over one very devastating disease or illness that can affect anyone at any given time, and affects typically everyone's family on some level in cancer. So I think it's a great event to raise awareness and bring the communities together over sports.
So the Miracle Minute is going to be during halftime, where maybe 2 or 3 or so students from Ladue as well as from Clayton will have buckets or some kind of collection bucket, and they will run kind of through the crowd and try to collect as much money as possible. So
we'll add up the money and see which school got the most money, but collectively all the money will go back to some type of cancer research organization. And also at the same time recognizing one of Ladue's girls coaches who's passed away since the last Coaches vs. Cancer event at Ladue And then December 20th, when our Coaches versus Cancer event is. We're still working through how we want to recognize him, his contributions to the Ladue community, but I think it's important that we do share his story that night.
Ruby and I both were coached by one of the Ladue coaches a couple years back who passed away from cancer, and so that's like another good thing for us to build community with, since we have a shared experience with some of the girls on the Ladue team.
I have a personal experience with cancer. My mom is a cancer survivor, and I know a lot of people in Clayton who have family members and friends who have also dealt with the same thing, and I think it's really important for us to be able to support them.
It means a lot. I know not a lot of people get the opportunity I do to play at all, and so when something as special as this comes up, it's not taken for granted.
Do you ever wonder what Clayton looked like back in the day?
Or how it's different today?
Liv gives us a look on how it's changed in the past decade. Stressing over finals?
There's always something to smile about.
Angie, Ben, and Eli bring us some motivation.
I've been thinking, I want you to be happier. I want you to be happier. When the morning comes, when we see what we've become. In the cold light of day, we're a flame in the wind, not the fire that we begun. Every argument, every word we can't take back. 'Cause with all that has happened, I think that we both know the way that the story ends. Then only for a minute, I want to change my mind, 'cause this just don't feel right to me. I wanna raise your spirits, I want to see you smile. No, that means I'll have to leave.
This has been GET, a production of the Greyhound News Network.
Thanks for watching, CHS.
Good luck with finals,
and enjoy the rest of your decade.
I'm in the zone. I get a good feeling, dreaming about the things that we could be. So it's gonna be forever. You already know. That's what feel me when I'm in the spot. Don't believe me, just watch. Oh, is it too late now to sing? I need a one dance. And then we start to dance, and I'm singing like, oh, I want something just like this. Might be over now, but I feel it still. I want you to be happier, because I'm happy when I'm wiser and I'm older. 'Cause you make me feel like